we don't have to include this if you don't want to.
Okay.
I want to put you in another hot seat.
Okay.
I'm not going to make you rank them all. I'm not even going to make you rank some of the bottom ones. But if you had to give like the S tier, the best of the best insurance companies that you just love referring people to, what do those usually look like? What are some of your favorite ones?
Yeah. You know, what's funny is an example of why things are as bad as they are right now is at one point, one of my favorite companies was Oregon Mutual. Well, Oregon Mutual went out of business when it came to personal lines because they took too big of losses. They were part of the reason that everything jumped up so high is because they took such high losses. They said, we're out. We can't do this anymore. And then all the other companies said, look what's going to happen to us if we don't get our act together. Like, we got to figure this out. But Oregon Mutual was great. They were paying everything that they were supposed to pay and then some. And that's what ends up happening is the most expensive ones are expensive because they pay out more than the typical ones.
Right.
So there's kind of that, there is no golden one out there that's low on cost, but amazing on coverage. They all kind of find their way into the average is what I find. And that's why I think having a good agent is huge, because you have a situation pop up and you don't necessarily love the way that the company's handling it. You have an agent can jump up on your behalf and see what they can do to help fix it. So I have my favorites, but it's also rotating. And my bias is a little different because, yes, I'm excited about the way they pay claims, or you don't. That might lead to an opinion of mine. But selfishly, I also don't like the way that this company has a system that's hard to navigate through. And this company is difficult to get a hold of for their billing department. So I once had to sit down with a group of 8th graders telling them kind of what my job entailed. And I described myself as an independent agent as sitting down at the dinner table at Thanksgiving, and I have all of my relatives that I love and annoy me equally in a certain way. And so I got my cheap uncle over here, my hot-headed one over here, the one that overspends but's in credit card debt. I've got all these different companies out there that we represent and have a love annoyance with all of them. So
that's fair. Now, some of the carriers, I feel like we're picking a little bit on Geico and Progressive over our conversations, but it's the kind of business model. They don't really have agents the same way that the other companies do. Now, obviously, if you're going to an agent, you're going to get that personalized service. You're going to get to know who they are. They're going to get to know you and your needs and all that. Is there ever a circumstance that you would actively recommend a client to go to Geico, to go to Progressive, to just completely avoid the agent experience? Just, you don't actually need that. That's not in your interest. Go to these other guys.
Yeah, but it's not always the greatest situations. Like, usually it's somebody that comes up to me that has taken zero accountability for the fact that they've caused 3 accidents in the last 3 years, and they can't understand why their rate's gone up even $1. And that person, we try to give them a quick education as to how it works and tell them maybe Geico's your friend in this situation, because you're not going to want to pay where we're going to put you to properly insure you. You just want to go as basic as possible. So that person that's just trying to just meet the legal limits, there's a place for that. I mean, Geico, just click on their basic and there you go. You got what you need. They're a market that's set to take higher risk stuff.
Right.
Most of the independent agents, they're looking for like good prospects, good candidates. And if you have a whole bunch of accidents and tickets, and you're not that. You're not a good prospect. You're not a good client. And in that situation, yeah, you might want to spend some years at Geico. The problem is that these companies, one of the factors they look at when you're shopping around is they look at your prior insurance history.
Right.
And there's nothing impressive about having been at an online conglomerate for the last few years. There's nothing impressive about having had bad prior limits. They're looking for that person that wants to be properly insured, wants to be cared for by their insurance company. They're looking for a specific type, and they want to steal from the other good companies. They don't necessarily try stealing for the customer that doesn't seem to want to work with them. So.
Right. So did I catch that right? So like if I was with like Farmers Insurance for 15 years, I had my house and my car with them. If I then decided away with this, I'm going to Allstate. If they saw that I was with Farmers for 15 years, I'm going to get a better rate than if I was with Geico.
Yeah, than if you were with Geico for the last 2. You'd probably see a better rate.
Interesting.
So, because you've got a history and you're coming from a preferred market in that situation.